Nang Hai Gu Fo, also known as Guan Pusa, also known as the Goddess of Mercy. We look at the screen, there is a picture of her. Okay, so Guan Ying is a name directly translated from the Indian Sanskrit, and they call her by the terminology of Buddha Avalokitesvara. Did I pronounce it right? That's a very... I say it again? Avalokitesvara. Okay, many syllables. And which means the Lord who looks upon the world with compassion. Okay, so we break down her title of Guan Ying. It means Guan is to observe, Si is the world, that means this perishable world full of miseries. Ying is all the sounds of the world. In particular, the crying sounds of sentient beings, verbal or mental, seeking help. That's what her title means. There are varying accounts of her life story. Okay, the oldest legend has it that on the 19th day of the second month, which is today, February the 19th, under the lunar calendar, Guan Ying Pusa was born. Okay, and that was roughly about 400 to 500 BC, approximately 2,400 years ago. She was born as Princess Male San, meaning miraculously kind-hearted. And she was born in Sri Lanka, which is on the southern tip of India. On this day, the earth shook, flowers rained down, and a wonderful fragrance filled the air. And these were signs of an incarnation of a holy person. When Male San grew up, she dressed plainly and only ate once a day. She was known in the palace as the maiden with the heart of a Buddha. The ladies in waiting who served her followed in her footsteps and also renounced their desires as well. Her father, King Mel Zhuanyan, expected her to marry, but she refused to marry. She only wants to be a vegetarian and pray to the Buddhas every day. Okay, so she told the king that she would only marry if it would help her to free humanity from 3 misfortunes of aging, sickness, and death. Who in the world can do that? All right? So she says if the king cannot do that, then she will devote herself to praying all the time. So this angered the king. He tried to punish her by forcing her to perform menial tasks and reducing her food and drink supply. The queen and her 2 sisters tried to persuade her to listen to her father and to change her mind, and this way the king will not punish her. But unfortunately, she won't listen. Okay, so the king sent her to a monastery high up on a barren mountain and told the nuns to give her the toughest task so that she would quickly give up the hard life and return to the palace. The princess was asked to chop wood, fetch water from the stream down the hill, and she would have to do all the chores. Okay, so she even grew plants on the barren soil and watered them every day. The monastery became surrounded by a beautiful garden, and the entire hill became a thriving forest, even in the harshest of winters. Soon a spring began to flow near the monastery, and all the forest animals start to assist the princess in her chores. So when the king heard about these, he got very angry and flew into a rage. He wanted to kill the princess. He sent soldiers to burn down the monastery building and all the nuns that occupy it. So when the princess saw the fire, she pierced her tongue with a hairpin, and blood bled from it. So this summoned a storm cloud, and then started to rain, and the fire was put out. And the nuns were safe. Then the king would not give up. and decided to have the princess executed. But no weapon can kill her. She was protected by the celestial Jade Emperor, which is the ruler of a heaven. And swords and arrows broke before they can even touch her body. Finally, in desperation, the king sent an executioner to execute her. And then the princess, realizing the fate that the executioner will have to face for not killing her, she voluntarily took on her karmic debt for the executioner. And then this will leave the executioner guiltless. Okay. So suddenly a white tiger appeared in the sky and swiftly carried her away. It was in this way that the princess met Yama, which is the ruler of the underworld. Because of the karmic debt of the executioner, she descended into hell, where she witnessed firsthand the suffering and horrors of the souls that had to endure the grief in the underworld. Mel San sent her deepest compassion to the crying ones. She released all the good karma she had accumulated through her many lifetimes, thus freeing all the suffering souls back into heaven and earth. Hell became a paradise filled with light, music, and wonderful scents. So Yama had to send Mel San away because powers like hers had no place in the underworld. Okay. So instead of a world of suffering, she turned it into a world of paradise. So she was sent away, and he gave her a peach of longevity as a gift. Mel San now flew through the air and reached the island of Putor San, where she remained in deep meditation for many years. Okay. So time went by. Her father was diagnosed with the last stages of jaundice. In the old days, jaundice is considered a severe illness, not like today, which is a minor thing, because there was no medication to cure jaundice. So the doctors were helpless. Her father couldn't eat or sleep and was quickly approaching death. So suddenly a monk appeared at the king's court and promised to heal him. To achieve this, he would have to prepare special medicine from the eyes and arms of a human who had never experienced anger nor hatred. There's no human being in this world who never experienced anger nor hatred. Okay, so the monk said to him, this type of being, okay, will be a Bodhisattva who would joyously fulfill his request. And she lived on the island of Putor-san. So the king sent a messenger to Putor-san and asked him to go and ask the Bodhisattva to give him her eyes and arms for medication. And Mel San was very happy to do that. So she cut off her arm and cut out her eyes, okay, to prepare medication for her father's recovery. The king tried to thank the monk, but the monk told him that the only being who has selflessly given her body, okay, would be the one that deserved the king's gratitude. So the monk disappeared as suddenly as he came. The king then decided to travel with his wife to Putor-san to seek this Bodhisattva who had saved his life. So when the king discovered that this miraculous being was his own daughter, he broke down and cried with his wife. And Princess Mel San asked the king and queen, does my lady remember Mel San? Mindful of my father's love, I have repaid him with my arms and eyes. And hearing her words, they embraced each other and start weeping heavily. At this moment, the air was filled with a delicate scent, and flowers rained down from the ceiling. The cave was bathed in brilliant light as Mel-san transformed into her sacred manifestation with 1,000 eyes and arms. And this is because heaven rewarded her for her filial piety. Excuse me. Okay. There were tens and thousands of voices celebrated the Bodhisattva's compassion. She became the purest, unconditional, compassionate Guan Yin Bodhisattva, which means the perceiver of sounds, and proceeded to float away. Humbled and grateful, her parents began their own spiritual practice and built a shrine in her honor in Putosan, where they had reunited with their daughter. So today it is known as Fragrant Mountain. Why do so many people worship Guan Yin Bodhisattva? It is because of the great vows she took. One of the great vows was that she will not become a Buddha until all sentient beings are saved. And due to her great level of compassion and salvation of countless number of sentient beings, Lao Mu conferred her the title of Nang Hai Gu Fo, which translates to Ancient Buddha of the South Sea, in 1936. Okay, so today in the temple she is known as Nang Hai Gu Fo, although many millions of people still refer her to Guan Yin Bodhisattva. So Guan Yin Bodhisattva is usually wearing a white flowing robe like you see on the screen. White is a symbol of purity. And in her hand, one hand is filled with holy water. And the water has the quality of removing suffering, purifying the defilements of our body, speech, and mind, and also lengthening life. Then in her other hand is a willow branch, used to sprinkle the divine water of life upon the devotees as to bless them with physical and spiritual peace. The willow branch also symbolizes the ability to bend and adapt, but not to break. It also has medicinal purposes and is used to heal people's illness as to bring fulfillment to their request. She may be pictured as being seated on a lotus, which is the sign of purity, and she may also be seen with 1,000 eyes and arms, sometimes with an eye in each palm of each hand. Okay, so this way she can sense the affliction of humanity and extending her many arms to alleviate them. Then the 1,000 eyes is to help us see anyone who may be in need. In the Lotus Sutra, Sakyamuni Buddha said that if a suffering being bears the name of Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva and earnestly calls out to the Bodhisattva, she will hear the call and relieve that being from suffering. Okay, so I guess we have to memorize Avalokitesvara. Practice saying the name over and over. We need a board, Virginia. I'm so sorry. So in the temple, we commemorate Nang Hai Gu for 3 times a year. Under the lunar calendar, like today, February the 19th is her birthday. Then on June the 19th, okay, will be the day she received the Tao. And also on September the 19th, will be the day she reached enlightenment and returned to absolute heaven. So it's February, June, and September, all on the 19th day, under the lunar calendar. Okay? So that was her life story. It sounds unbelievable, but it's a legend. Okay? So we should all follow in her footsteps with such a compassionate heart and mind. Okay, now, why did I close this? Now we have to do a scripture of Nang Hai Gu Fo. Okay, so,
before you proceed,
yes. Questions?
Okay, I would like to introduce 2 new friends here to our class.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we have Sha Dan. Okay.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Yeah, that's Miss Jiang.
Very nice to meet you. Welcome to our class. Okay, today's a special day, so that's why you came. Probably Nang Hai Gu Fo brought you today.
Do you know about Guan or Nanhai Gu?
Goddess of Mercy.
I don't know very much.
If you look at the screen, that's her. That's a picture of her. Okay, this picture. This picture is actually taken by one of the reporters in a calamity in Taiwan. Okay.
It's a pilot.
It's a pilot? I thought it was,
It was
okay.
like a typhoon.
Oh, there was a typhoon. I guess he was flying. Was he flying a plane? You
Yeah.
want to explain?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's in, I forget, it's in the 50s or 1960s. It may have been an American pilot, I'm not sure. But anyways, they're flying through this typhoon, and then he saw this kind of weird cloud formation, so he took a picture. And then after it's developed, that's what, this is a painting based on that picture, but that's kind of what developed. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you see her riding on a dragon. Okay. So she is also known to hold actually the vase on her right hand and the willow branch on her left hand. But I didn't quote that because that painting did not show that way. So I did not say left hand or right hand. So apparently, I guess she changed it sometimes. See? So one of the, is it lecturer that Lao Sư took to heaven?
Yeah.
Said that this is the most,
Oh yeah.
this is the most, the most, the best painting to
accurate.
the most accurate painting.
He said the temple master Lin, I think holy teacher took temple master Lin in Taiwan to the heaven. And he went to the heaven, right? He saw, because he was in there, saw all the saints of Buddha. And he saw the one we painted on the when Lady Guisawa is heavy Buddha. Lady Buddha is not beautiful enough. He said this is the one closer than the others.
To her.
Yeah, because she's kind of young, beautiful, and then all the picture he saw in different locations, different temples. He said they are not very close to her.
It's not as accurate.
Yeah, so this one probably the close one.
Yeah. So that's why I put that one there.
Yeah.
So everybody can see that's what similar to what she looks like. Okay, so now I will cover a scripture that Guan Yin Bodhisattva or Nang Hai Gu Fo came to our temple in the Happy Buddha back in June of 2000. Oh, I think it's 2002. Okay, so this is quite a few years ago. We don't get that many visitations from Nang Hai Gu Fo.
She always go to the Iowa or Ohio a few times already.
It depends on the members in the class. If they have a good affinity with her, then she will appear to those members. Okay, we had a few visitations from her in Happy Buddha Temple, and this is one of the scriptures that she gave us. It's not a long one, it's a short one, but it's a very simple one, and we can all relate to it. Okay, so starting, she would say, already you have been here for half a day of lecture and still not completely understood the meaning of Tao. However, it is okay. As long as we use our heart and try to connect with heaven, then we will have positive results. Please, everyone, gather your thoughts, remain calm and peaceful, and listen to me speak, okay? So she says, my worthy friends, have you ever drunk coffee? Some people like it sweet. Some people like it bitter. Some like it with cream. Everyone's taste is different. In our path of cultivation, in Tao, some people have it smooth, some people have it rough, full of ups and downs. But this is fine. This is your life course. Whenever we have a setback, as long as we can have an open mind and courage to face the difficulties, regroup for the rest of the journey. In this way, your life will progress to a higher level. Okay. Have you ever eaten rice? Some rice are firm, some rice are soft. Firm and soft depends on individual's taste. Some like it firm and some like it soft. But don't eat only soft rice and don't eat only firm rice. In life's journey, we have to be just right. Okay? We cannot take care of every little detail. It doesn't matter if we encounter something good or bad. We can all accept it happily. If you spend a day happily, you still have to spend the day. If you spend a day miserably, you still have to spend the day. So why trouble ourselves? Thus, I hope all of you can live happily instead of miserably, okay? So she's using coffee and rice to analyze our life in each one of our own individual lives, okay? How we can deal with them, okay? So, let me advise my worthy friends to act in balance. So in other words, when we drink coffee too bitter, it will be like taking medicine. We cannot drink anymore after one mouthful, right? Because it's hard to swallow. If it's too sweet, we will also gain weight, okay? Now, when we gain weight, it will make us very tired and weary. So being too bitter or too sweet, it is not in balance. To have good coffee, we need to achieve a balance of taste. It is the same with rice. Too firm, it is not chewable. Too soft, it has no texture, and we will be unable to sense the fragrance and lusciousness of the rice. So the firmness of the rice has to be in balance for us to enjoy it. It is the same thing with people. Are we attractive? If we are overweight, we will be very tired easily. If we are too skinny, we cannot stand against a strong wind. We will fall. This is not achieving balance. Again, being a person. If we are too thrifty, we will mistreat ourselves and also others. If we are too generous, we will be wasting ourselves and wasting our collected merits and also our virtues and good fortunes. So everything we do, whether spiritual or physical, we need to be in balance. It is the same with interacting with other people. If we are too agreeable, we will be spoiling others. But if we are too unforgiving, we are without kindness. We have no compassion and no benevolence. Okay? So in all things, we must achieve balance. Like lecture Kai said this morning in the Buddha Nature class, to follow the middle path in everything in life. Okay? This is an art and very difficult to master. So the Buddha says, I will give you a few words as a gift. Practice the way of balance. Everything will be just right. So in other words, follow the middle path. You will rejoice and I will rejoice. You will be blissful and I will be blissful. And all will rejoice in happiness. Hopefully, all my worthy friends, for the remaining time, you will relish this chance. Open your heart and experience. Buddha, I secretly will help imparting you spirit and wisdom. The time is limited. I will stop taking more of your time. I will say farewell to the Holy Mother and help to ferry more sentient beings everywhere. Okay? Isn't that a beautiful sutra? Always remember the rice and the coffee.
Is that the one where she composed the song? I think she had a song that talked about that.
Yeah, I didn't bring the scripture. I only brought the translation. Okay. Yeah, I think there is a song
about that.
Do you know how to sing it?
No.
Can you pull it out from the screen? Do you know which song?
I don't remember.
Is that the song? I brought the translation, so if anyone wants a copy, you can raise your hand and we can make copies. Okay. So, okay, Laura? Okay. So I'll give you a copy later. So any questions on her life stories or any comments or any experience that you have? I have a lot of I have a lot of affinity with. Yeah, I have a lot of affinity with Guan Pusa or Nanhai Gufo, and also our holy teacher. Okay. I want to share with you when I got sick, not my current illness, another illness. Okay, about how many years ago? I would say about a little over 20 years ago. Okay, this is my beginning road of cultivation. My first illness I came across. I had to go for surgery. I'm scared. I never had a major illness. And I talk to the Buddhas every day. I spoke to a teacher every day, silently in my heart and mind, never out loud. And then I asked the holy teacher, because at that time my son was only 7 years old. So I asked the holy teacher to please let me live through this surgery, because my son only has me. And he has nobody else. So I asked God, I asked Holy Teacher to please make sure I will come through this surgery with flying colors, okay? And in one of the Dharma class on Northern Boulevard, there used to be a store, and in the back Huang Chang set up a temple. So I'm always in the background. Even today, I'm in the background. So in those days, I'm more in the background. So I'm always standing by there's two sides to the temple. One side is his work area where the sink and the towels are. The other side is the temple. So I was standing in the side where the towels are, because I'm always handing out towels, okay? So the first day, Nanhai Gufo or Guan Pusa came and channeled in. Before she said one word, she immediately went to my side where I stood. And I didn't know she was talking to transmitter her, if you remember transmitter her. And I didn't know she was talking about me. Until another temple host who knew I was sick pulled me to the other side and said, let's go and ask the Buddha for help. I said, no, because I'm always in the background. So then finally she pulled me, so I just went, and we immediately knelt down. And then we were bowing to her, and she goes, "Mian la," translation like not necessary. And then her Dian Chuan said, this medicine is for you. So she prepared it. Okay. This medicine is for you. Her medicine is actually the branch that she was holding. She picked up some leaves and transmit to her how I should prepare it for the medication with tonight's soup from the temple, and tomorrow morning with the same soup, how to prepare. And transmitter her later told me that she said to her, this medicine is for you know who. And her Dian Chuan knew I was sick, but I did not enter her mind. So she said somebody else's name. She goes, no, who needs it the most right now? And she still don't know it was me. I'm controlling so it doesn't come out. I have a way to do that. Thank you. So she goes, and she still doesn't know it was me. So Nanhai Gufo said, 师徒, and then she go, oh, 师徒爱真. Okay, so then she knows it's me. So she told her how to prepare the thing, and then she went into the other room. Okay, and then she talked to the other people. The next day, 老师 came, holy teacher. And 老师first did the lecture to everybody, and on the way out, he's shaking everybody's hand, each individual, because the class wasn't that big. Everybody, including all the staff members, shaking everybody's hand. And then he walked to my side. Of course, I'm standing on the other side again. So he came and he shook my hand. And he says to me, 2 words. What did he say? Oh, 3 words. 3 words. 你安心. Okay. So, in other words, whatever is in our heart and mind to the Buddhas, they hear us. They hear us.
He said, don't worry about it.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
yeah. 你安心. So, in other words, my surgery will be smooth. Okay, 你安心, 3 words. I will never forget.
What was the time before you did the surgery?
No,
After?
I have no before. Yeah. Before I haven't gone yet.
Oh,
I haven't
okay,
gone
you
yet.
haven't gone for
I haven't gone yet.
Okay.
So he says, 你安心. So then I start cry. Okay, because I'm always talking to him in my heart and mind. I said, oh, please make sure I'm okay. Okay, because my son needs me. So then when it was the surgery, I went in, I came out, and when I woke up, my mom was next to me. I couldn't open my eyes yet, but I hear her asking me a question. Are you okay? Does it hurt? She asked me, does it hurt? And at that time, I felt like somebody stabbed me 1,000 times. That's how painful it was. Okay? Now, the first thought that entered my mind, because that morning before I went for surgery, I bow and kowtow to the Buddhas every morning and evening, facing the window, from the since the Dharma class, which is only 6 months from when I received the Dharma. So every morning I bow to the Buddhas. And that morning before I went, I asked the Holy Teacher to be there for me in the surgery, to be in the actual operating room, and to make sure that I will be okay. Okay. So then when I said it's very painful, the first thought that entered my mind was, maybe the Buddha didn't come because I feel so much pain. Okay? I said, maybe the Buddha didn't come. As soon as I thought of that, the pain went away. No more pain whatsoever. When I had to stay there overnight because I had a fever, so they kept me under monitor. So when they sent me home, they gave me a prescription for Tylenol with codeine. Tylenol with codeine. That's very strong for the pain. My brother filled a prescription for me, but I never even took one regular Tylenol. Not even regular Tylenol. Okay? So, just to show you what a miracle it was. Okay? So, also, when I set up my temple at home, Nanghai Gufo is the Buddha that came and not channel in, but to do the sand writing for me. Okay, so I put my scripture in a plastic folder so it doesn't get worn out. Okay, yeah. And then I had it translated by somebody to me. So once in a while I read it and my tears come down. So I have a very good affinity with Nanghai Gufo. Okay. So anybody else want to share something? Nobody? Nobody?
She came down a few times in Iowa and Ohio. The reason because we have a lot of memories in Ohio, especially in Iowa.
Yeah.
And she was born in that area.
Nepal,
okay.
yes. Sri Lanka.
Yes, that area. Okay, very north part of northern of the.
It's the southern tip of
area.
India.
Okay. Yeah. Northern part
Oh,
of India.
then I don't know.
Yeah. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So she always came down a few times already. In Iowa, I think the lecture I probably more remember, and And Kai always do the translation. And also in Iowa too. Yeah, you can see. And he speaks very soft,
Yeah.
very gentle.
She's very delicate. She walks on her tippy toe.
Last year she brought 三太子 right?
Yeah, okay, we'll come back to that one.
Yeah, she walks on her tippy toe. And to share with you, one time after Nanghai I don't know, one time, not after her visitation, but one time after a regular Dharma class, 崔老点传师 was imitating the way she walked. We were cracking up. He can do it. He was really walking like her.
The way she talked,
Very soft,
very
like
soft and slowly.
yeah, slowly, yeah.
That's why she tried to keep us a kid.
That's how we should
In
talk.
our life, we always rush, right? We want to finish immediately, we want to talk quickly, whatever we do. Basically, she taught us, slow down, don't rush. Okay? Especially one time, I think, Christine is not here, Christine is inside. I think it was last year or the year before, that's a couple of years ago. Transmitter was not there, so I think transmitter was holding her to dress up, and then Christine was trying to put a microphone together, and then Christine, my daughter never came so close to the Buddha, so she was shaky, her hand was shaky, so she said, "不要紧张, don't be nervous, just take it easy." But in that time, we think in our lifetime, she only sent a message for her at the moment. Don't be nervous. Basically, she sent a message to her in her life. Tell her in your lifetime, because she always, sometimes, maybe a test coming or something else coming, she's kind of nervous to prepare for that. So Buddha always tell her, no, take it easy. Don't be nervous. So they don't write out. She know, Buddha told her, not just about that little action there. It's about your life approach. So it was good to know that. She always, everybody remember about her, especially in Japan. So many families has a temple with statues with Lady Bodhisattva.
They call her Canon, Kannon. Canon. If you go to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, you can go to the Japanese, where the Asian department, and they have a little room, and for the Japanese worshipping her statue, Canon, Kannon.
And she saved a lot of fishermen and all the people around the sea, because fishermen went out to the fishing, or some people facing difficulty in their life. She always there to help people.
Okay.